So let's talk about England and Ireland, Scotland and Italy. The teams are in. Welcome to this video supported by Lifting Giants. And I guess the big news for England is we've got Emmanuel Faye-Wabusu starting and George Martin starting. Yes, Alex Mitchell is straight back in, but we know he's the first choice, so that makes more sense, I guess. This is a big positive for two young players saying, I think maybe you are the future for England, and I don't expect them to be perfect right now, but I think it's right. It definitely powers up this England team that needed some players who pack a bit more punch. So let's go through it. George Furbank at 15, absolutely fine with him having another crack. Is he the long-term fullback for England? I don't know, but he's very skillful, he's very quick. The weather should be decent, I think, at the weekend, so maybe that's a good call. And that back three altogether, Furbank, Faye-Wabusu and Freeman, just has a little bit more edge to it. I think there's plenty of kicking and catching there. I actually think Emmanuel Faye-Wabusu has a good all-round game, probably better than some of the other quick wingers out there, maybe like Radwan, maybe even Arundel, to be honest. And he goes looking for work. This is what I like about Faye-Wabusu. He's all over the place. He's really confident. Arundel's got the ability. When he started for England, he kind of stayed on the wing a bit, waited for the ball to come to him. And when it did come to him, he was great. But Faye-Wabusu goes all over the place looking for work. And that's what we want to see in this game. Just go for it. Get involved. Hopefully he'll be given licence to do that because he is very good at it. The centres stay the same. Henry Slade's a good player, but he hasn't quite got that pace, that power. There's a lot of responsibility on him for that hook to get it right in defence. So again, all eyes on him. Is he going to be the 13 going forward for a long time? I don't know, but it looks like he is the main man there. I guess Daly could go in there off the bench, or maybe Freeman off the bench, but I actually expect him to play the full game. Inside him at 12, Ollie Lawrence. Good comment saying maybe he's a better 13, but England need a 12. If he's going to be that man, his skills do need to improve from the last match, that's for sure. I want to see confidence and power from him. Freeman we mentioned. Ford continues at 10. In the long term, yes, I'd like to see Smith in there. What Smith fitness status, I don't know, so I kind of understand Ford staying there for continuity. But Marcus Smith brings a lot more than George Ford does physically, speed, agility wise, so hopefully he'll get some good minutes. Into the pack and they start Ellis Genge. I wondered if they'd start both old boys in Marler and Cole, but many of you guys say you need to keep one of them on the bench to keep that scrum solid. So Genge, George, Cole, pretty happy with that. I would like to see Dan get more and more game time at hooker. He looks very dangerous. Like we mentioned in the second row, George Martin starts alongside Mara Itoje. It is England's beefiest second row partnership so far. It sees Ollie Chesham move to 6. I'm not overly sure about this. It does give England a lot of line-out options, I know. But Charner Cunningham South or Ethan Roots, who's not even in the team, they do hit harder in attack and defence. So not massively sure about that, but I kind of get it. Would like to see Cunningham South come on and get some good game time there. They don't need a second row on the bench because Chesham can cover that. Underhill was always going to play 7. A big defensive monster. Is he that attacking threat? I don't know. Along with Chesham, not the biggest attacking threat. So maybe a lot riding on Ben Earl there. So maybe lacking a little bit in the carries in the back row. In the replacements, Chesham starting means we can have 2 back rows on the bench. Cunningham South looks like he's definitely going to go to 6 because Dombrandt's there as well. When Dombrandt comes on, I expect Underhill to come off and Earl to go to 7 because England need to retain that explosive carrying. So I think that's the way it's going to go. A bit of a shame not to see Spencer there again. I think Danny Kerr's day is kind of done, although he's near 100 caps. Is he going to get there in this Six Nations? I think that would be a milestone. I'm not saying that's got something to do with the selection, but it's definitely interesting. Smith we mentioned, and Elliot Daly covers the wing, fullback and 13. Will be very interesting to see where he comes on. So ultimately, I think this selection takes England in the right direction. I don't think it's quite there yet. Definitely a bit more power up front. Some exciting selections. Faye-Wabusu obviously is very exciting, but we shouldn't put too much on him. But it's a good selection for the future. So I'm excited. Do I think England are going to win? Probably not, but I'm always optimistic. Let's see what they can do. And just a word for our sponsor, Lifting Giants. They've actually designed an ergonomic lifting block that fits a human hand, and surprise, surprise on testing, it's better than a normal lifting block. So if you want to pair, 20% off with the code RugbyAnalyst20. On to the Irish team, and goodness me, they know their best team, don't they? Hugo Keenan comes straight back in, of course. Frawley to the bench, which is super useful for Ireland because they can go 6-2. Paul McCloskey's not needed because Frawley pretty much covers everywhere in the backs apart from 9. Henshaw continues at 13. Ringrose isn't fit, so it's a shame, but Henshaw's been playing well. So Nash on one wing, Lowe on the other, Aki and Henshaw, of course. Crowley continues at 10. Gibson Park ever present at 9, so pretty much picks itself with Keenan coming straight back in. So an improved backline, I guess you would say, with Keenan in. In the forwards, as you'd expect, no changes whatsoever. Portici and Furlong. Big McCarthy, who seems to have cemented now as first choice in Forster second row, alongside the all-rounder Byrne, who's such a great player. Captain Amani, Josh van der Fleer at open side, and Caelan Doris, the big carrying number 8. As you'd expect, very, very dangerous for England. Can they come to Twickenham and do a number? They're going to be confident they are the favourites. On the bench, we see some strengthening, I guess, in the front row with Beelum coming back in for Jaeger. He was out with a knee injury last time, so him back in, definitely their backup tight head, so good news there. And then a freak injury for James Ryan. We're not quite sure what it is, something not related to training, I don't think. But Henderson has come back fit in time, so experience replaces experience. Then the rangy Baird and Conan as 2 back rows in the 6-2 split, because Murray covers 9 and Kieran Frawley covers everywhere. So a super powerful team, very settled. Can England come up with something to beat them? I don't know, but I'm excited to see this game. It should be good. There's definitely some players there for England now that I'm quite excited to see. And this Irish team, goodness me, when they get going, they are almost unstoppable. Can England hang on in there and maybe their bench supply some sort of punch at the end? For Scotland, only a few changes from the England win, and one of them's enforced as poor Tuipulotu misses out. He's been so good, so consistently excellent for them, very creative and powerful, but luckily Cameron Redpath has finally shaken off that series of injuries that jeopardised his career, and he's in the form of his life. Probably more creative than Tuipulotu actually, and he's put on some size, although he's never going to be as powerful as Tuipulotu, but a really good replacement if you are going to miss Tuipulotu. The experiment with a 6-2 split on the bench I think makes sense because player Kinghorn is as good a 10 as Ben Healy, I think. So he misses out on the 23, does Ben Healy, as long as they both don't get injured, although I do think Cameron Redpath does have the skill to do a decent job, to be honest. Big news for Andy Christie, he'll be buzzing. He gets a start in that competitive back row slot. He's got the 6 shirt ahead of Ritchie and Fagerson, who dropped to the bench, who are on the bench, so that's some serious experience. He's gone above there. Explosive speed, definitely from the bench from those 2. The back row, maybe not that big, but I guess the Italian pack isn't the biggest either, so a little bit of a risk in the pack, I guess, with a little less size. And then the last changes looks like straight rotation, resting the regular starter Ben White at scrum half, and the rapid George Horn gets a start, so that's exciting. With the veteran Price on the bench, Scotland play crazy quick anyway, and Italy play crazy quick, and as I discussed in the previous video, Scotland need a win, a bonus point win, and a stack of points for points difference, so it was always going to be fast and exciting, and it could be even more so cannot wait for this game. For Italy, the big news is Lewis Liner not needed by England, and Italy said thank you very much, we'll have some pace and power. He's straight in there along with Monte Ioane. That is a seriously dangerous winger slot, and Menicello, their wonder kid, can play everywhere. What a great player he is. He moves to 12, so I love the look of this back line because Paige Rayo did so well from 9. I think he is their 9 now, their answer. Even though he's just got 6 caps, I think he's the man. And Negri comes back as well, so that's great. Lamaro can play 7. Vincent of Exeter, love him as an all-rounder at 8. And they've got some firepower on the bench as well. Canone returns. So it's a good side. It's going to be a great game. Scotland are favourites, but there's going to be tries everywhere. Yeah, so I'm pumped for this weekend. Let me know what you think of those teams, all those comments below, and I'll catch you next time.